Dear friends, I am Dr. N. Sri Rangarajulu, Assistant Professor in this Department of Production Technology, Anna University, Chennai. Today we are discuss about the Foundry and Welding Technology. This is overview of all the units. First unit is casting processes. Introduction to the casting. Casting is nothing but all the engine components, carburetors, and all those things. They can able to make a casting with the help of sand casting method. So the we need for sand casting method pattern is required. Pattern is nothing but a replica of the object. And next they will have some allowances we can able to provide for the machining. After the casting they can able to make machining and other processes. So that's why they will give the material allowances, that is a distortion allowance, camber allowance, um, draft allowance, like that, so on. And then some codings also they can able to give the pattern materials for yellow, blue, and red colors also. And types of pattern, there are single piece pattern, two piece pattern, three piece pattern, so on. And mold making is one of the very good technique for making the sand. They will have a wet sand. With the help of wet sand we can able to molding sand, we can able to prepare the mold cavity. Under the mold cavity they can able to pour the molten metal through a furnace. They can heat the metals in the liquid form, and then hot metals they can able to pour into the mold cavity, and then they can make a solidification for some time. After the solidification they can remove the casting, and then they can able to remove the unwanted portions like runner, riser, and other unwanted portions. Then they can able to machining, then they can get the good quality of the product, that is the end product. This is the method is used for casting processes. And there are, and next we will discuss about unit number 2, that is a special casting processes. There are pressure die casting, that is one is the pressure die casting is a hot chamber die casting and cold chamber die casting. Hot chamber die casting, the material is melted in that chamber itself. Then they can able to, plunger is provided. With the help of that plunger they can able to apply pressure. Then they can send to the die, they can able to solidify, then they will eject the component. That is the hot chamber die casting. Cold chamber die casting, they have a separate furnace and ladle. They can heat the material to the molten state, then they can able to pour into the setup for the cold chamber die casting. Then apply the pressure with the help of hydraulic plunger. Then the pressure is acting, and metal is sent to the die, and the solidification time will be provided. After the solidification they will take the eject the component, that is a pressure die casting method. Next they will have a centrifugal casting. That centrifugal casting is one of the pipe manufacturing industries. With the help of cast iron pipes, dense cast iron pipes, they are manufacturing with centrifugal casting. Centrifugal force is acting at the time of rotation of the cylinder, and they can able to pour the molten metal. So that time they can able to centrifugal action will be taken place. Then they can get the good quality of the pipes without any defect, and good dense pipeline. That is the centrifugal casting method. Continuous casting also they can use. They can able to make a railroads and other things. They can able to bars and rods. They can able to continuously they can pour the molten metal. That molten metal pouring is controlled by IR sensors and other things. Then they can able to get the continuous casting for 20 meters or 10 meters length. They can able to cut the continuous metals and other things. Next they will have a investment casting. Investment casting is nothing but they can able to make a casting for number of similar components in the single mold itself. That is a investment casting method. And next is shell molding. Shell molding also they will have a heated pattern will be there. That pattern, above the pattern, that sand material and binders they can add, and they can tilt the temperature of the shell pattern, they will have some metals are deposited like a shell shape. Then after the shell is removed and they can able to pour the required casting, that is the cell molding process. Skews casting, they can able to apply a pressure on the top of the uh, casting method, that is a skews casting. And electroslag casting also there. And CO2 molding. CO2 molding is we will have a hot mold, that is a silica gel is used for that casting molding. That molding itself, they can able to get the carbon dioxide gas is passed, then they can able to silica gel react with the carbon dioxide, then it will get the silica gel is formed, that is a very dense molding. With that molding they can use it for casting, that is the CO2 molding. And then some other counter gravity pressure die casting and electromagnetic casting, these and all available in the second unit. We will discuss a detailed manner in the forthcoming classes. And the next one is the third unit. Third unit is nothing but metal joining process. Metal joining process or welding process. Metal joining is soldering, bracing, and welding. These are all the metal joining processes. Soldering, you know very well about, with the help of soldering iron, we can able to make the soldering for the small PCB boards and other things, that is the soldering. Bracing, they can use it for braced tools and the lathe tool tips, all they can able to bracing with the help of a oxyacetylene flame with the brass rod. They can able to make a bracing the tip on the shank of the uh, pull holder. So that is a bracing operation. Welding, there are different types of weldings are there. Fusion welding and solid state welding. Fusion welding, there are TIG welding, MIG welding, arc welding, gas welding, and these are all hydrogen atomic welding. These and all are fusion welding techniques. And then solid state welding, there are friction welding, resistant welding, friction stir welding. These are all the solid state welding. Uh, these are all different types of welding methods. They can able to control over the different parameters of electricity and uh, gases, shielding gases and other things. You will get the good quality of the weld. Generally, there are arc welding. They are used for electrode and positive on electrode in positive terminal and electrode negative terminal. They will have our PCs connected and they will make a metal arc welding. That electrode is melt and deposit over the metal cap, and also flux is converted into slag form, that is outside oxygen should not enter into the weldment, then they will get the good quality of the weld. And immediate solidification also not occurred at the form of slag is forming the layer of the molten metal, then weld cracks are not formed. So these are all the some advantages of flux coated electrodes we are used. And so many welding processes are there. We will discuss detailed manner in the forthcoming classes for parameters, how to control over these welding processes and applications and advantages and limitations also there. One of the most widely used welding technique is thermite welding for very thick materials. We can able to railroads and other things, so they can able to weld with the help of thermite welding. Thermite welding is one of the thermite reaction, that is aluminum oxide powder and iron powder. We can able to mix to some ratio and they can ignite with the help of a match stick. They can able to fire and it can able to go to the up to the 3000, about 3000 to 3500 degrees centigrade. Then the metal will be molten state. After the molten state, they can able to open the trap. Bottom of the trap is opened, then the molten metal will be deposited, go around the, due to gravitational force, go around the two railroads gap. Then they can able to make a grinding and remove the unwanted portions. Then they can make a railroad repair works and other things. Roadsides, the railroad sites, they are used for thermite welding. And the resistant is for seam welding, spot welding, projection welding, and all the welding processes are there. These welding processes most widely used in aerospace, automobile, and other applications for space launching applications, and rail, coach manufacturing industries, and automobile cars, and the two-wheelers, and all those things we will discuss in forthcoming classes in detailed manner. And the next one is the fourth one is the special welding processes. There are some electron beam welding, laser beam welding, plasma arc welding, stud welding. These are all the friction stir welding. These are all the some of the special welding techniques, and some submerged arc welding also there. Submerged arc welding, the flux is covered entire weld pool. We make a submerged into the uh, flux material. That's why this is called submerged arc welding. Some underwater welding also available, and diffusion welding also there. These are explosive welding also there. Explosive RDX and TNT and other material, explosive materials they can use for shipbuilding applications. Very thick materials they can able to make explosive welding, very large ship hulls and other things. These things also we will discuss in the forthcoming classes. And then last unit, that is the fifth unit, testing of casting and weldments. And testing of welds, they will have a bend test, tensile test, hardness test, and other destructive testing methods. That is destroy the material, and you can find out the joint efficiency and the strength of the material and all those things. That is destructive testing. Non-destructive testing, that is X-ray radiography and ultrasonic study and other things. We can magnetic particle testing, dye penetrant testing. These are all the non-destructive testing. With the help of without destroying the material, you can able to find out the defects in the weldment. That is a non-destructive testing method. These things we can able to discuss in detail in the forthcoming classes. These are all the 5 units in foundry and welding technology. For the brief introduction about all those things, textbooks reference for these welding principle, PL Jain and Principles of Foundry Technology, Tata McGraw-Hill publication, and Farmer RS Welding and Welding Engineering and Technology, Kanna publication. These books are give a lot of information about this foundry and welding technology.